Say man, welcome to the first episode of Blood Brothers. Now I know many of you may not know who I am, but my name is Anthony King. I'm the younger brother of Reggie King from the Road to Glory series. Look, I think they did a fantastic job chronicling bro's journey to the NFL, but if I'm being honest, man, they left out quite a few details. So I figured why not pick up a camera and record my own journey. So with that being said, let's get started. Alright man, so listen, first and foremost, me and my brother were raised with both parents. Look, I don't know why my pops wasn't included in that little Sports Central show, but he was very much a part of our lives. As a matter of fact, he and my mom were high school sweethearts and they stayed together the majority of our childhood. Now, when my parents split up, bro and I went to stay at my dad's house, and honestly, I think this is where my love for the game comes from. I mean, all he talked about was football. As a matter of fact, this dude had us doing 2-a-days and studying film when I was in middle school. But look, Reggie and my pops never got along. It was always some sort of tension in their relationship. And quite honestly, as bro got older, things just seemed to get worse. Well, at one point things got so bad that we had to go stay back in my mom's crib. Look, life in my mom's house was rough. If I'm being honest, bro, I felt like a stepchild or something. For some reason, I've always been closer to my pops and my mom knows that. So I think a little bit of the resentment she had for him, she ended up taking out on me. The lack of love and attention caused me to become rebellious, and I found myself in a little bit of trouble with the law. I figured me getting locked up would take a little bit of the attention off Reggie and put a little bit on me, but nah, it was the exact opposite. Out of nowhere, bro started going crazy on the field. I mean, this dude went from like a 2-star, 2.5-star athlete to being one of the top recruits out of LA. That's around the same time Sports Central came around, and as you know, bro went on to do big things. But say after bro graduated and went to UCLA, all that attention he had transferred to me. Coaches knew football ran through our blood, so they wanted to see if I could take them to their second state championship. Man, I must have balled out my sophomore year. I mean, I was really laying it on them boys thick. First team All-State, California All-Star, team captain, the whole nine. We ended up losing in sub-state that year, but I was confident we had all the pieces to win it next year. Well, man, that's when this happened. What do you mean we're moving? I can't just up and change schools in the middle of the year. What about football?
Look, Anthony, I'm not going back and forth with you. You heard what I said and that's final. We will figure everything else out once we get settled, but for right now, I need you to go look and see how many empty boxes we have left in that garage. Thank you.
Bro used his NIL money to rent me and mom's a house out near the valley. Man, that one move would kill all my state championship dreams with Inglewood, and it would also make me ineligible to play at Campbell Hall since I transferred in the middle of the year. So in total, that meant no football my entire junior year. But listen, man, my time at Campbell Hall was horrible. I just couldn't relate to nobody there. I mean, everything seemed fake and superficial. Plus, we had to wear them dumbass uniforms. On top of that, our football team sucked, like hot garbage. But say, man, I had lost pretty much all the hype I had by not playing my junior year. So when it came time to commit to a college, I didn't have very many options, and the options I did have weren't very good. Well, that's how I ended up here, Eastern Michigan University. Alright, so look, now that y'all know the journey that I took to get to this point, we can actually get into everything that's happened since I've been here at EMU. But say, it's very important y'all stay tuned to the end of the episode because I think I'm going to need your help deciding on what my next move should be. Man, look, I'll be honest, I was totally against coming to this school. I mean, not because it's a bad place or anything like that, but I just have my mind set on catching passes and returning kicks at USC or Oregon. But I gotta give credit where it's due. Man, my pops helped me change my mindset and develop a positive attitude. Big bro looked out in a major way. He rented me a pretty nice apartment about 2 minutes away from campus, and he gave me his credit card to furnish the place and buy food. That way all I had to focus on was football. Reggie knew I wasn't the happiest about being here. That's why he told me to use this time to develop my game and build my body up for the pros. I took bro's advice and set out to do just that. During training camp, the coaches were very impressed with my play at practice, but they said it was a bit inconsistent. I'd make an amazing catch one play, and then on the very next play, I'll probably drop a wide open pass. So my goal while I'm here is to improve my route running and become a deep threat, and also improve my ability to catch the ball through contact. I would start the season off as a third string receiver, but I wasn't really tripping because I knew I wouldn't be there long. Also, depending on the package, I knew I would get a chance to come in as a slot receiver. Plus, I'd be back returning punts and kickoffs. Man, kicking off the first game of the season, I knew if I was going to earn a spot in the offensive rotation, I would first have to make an impact on the kick returns. I told myself every time I touched the ball to try to take that thing to the house. But look, I wouldn't see the field again until midway through the second quarter, where I would make the first catch of my young college career. Now, it's one thing I want you guys to keep in mind. At this point, I was just a freshman third string receiver. So for the first few games of the season, I couldn't run whatever route I wanted to or call for the ball every play. Nah, it don't work like that. But look, it's one thing my big bro and my pops always told me, and that's effort will get you seen on film. So whether my job was to be a decoy in the offense or run block, I was going to give them my all. Man, at the beginning of the fourth quarter, I almost made a huge house call on a kick return, giving us excellent field position to start off the next drive. Now, this is where I would show I was a true student of the game. I was able to break off my route and find a huge hole in the defense to secure a big first down. Then on the very next play, knowing I had to step on my defender, I extended my route just a little bit and made the very tough catch, putting us right outside the end zone, which led to a 2-yard touchdown, tying the game with only 2 minutes left in regulation. Now, luckily, our defense was able to come up with a huge stop and put the ball back in our hands with only 1 minute left in the game. Now, of course, I wanted to be the go-to receiver on this drive, but I knew it wasn't quite my time. Instead, my boy Hassan would come up with a huge 46-yard reception, giving us excellent field position, which led to a very strange fumble recovery in the end zone for the win. Your boy would finish the game with 5 receptions for 79 yards and 2 huge kick returns. Hey, not bad for a third-string receiver. The next game would be versus number 21 ranked Penn State at their house. Say, man, I can't lie, seeing all those fans had my stomach in a knot. I was a little bit nervous, but I knew it was finally my time to take stage. This game, I would get a chance to see the field in the first quarter. I came up clutch on a few fourth downs, but it was strange because after I made those big plays, I would immediately be sent to the sideline. I was there to do my job and help the team out in whichever way I could. Now, they did seem to struggle to move the ball without me on the field. Then right on cue, I line up in that slot position and bail us out of trouble. Well, eventually towards the end of the first quarter, all my contributions would lead to an 11-yard passing touchdown, giving us the lead on the road. My confidence was extremely high at this point, and I really started to feel like I was becoming a reliable weapon for our offense. But that confidence would get me in trouble, as calling for the ball would lead to a big interception by the Penn State defense. Now, quite honestly, I felt like the quarterback could have did a little bit better job leading me on the route, but I learned quickly about accepting accountability, as the coach would put me on the sideline next to him for the rest of the game. I went on to finish with 7 catches for 69 yards, and we suffered our first loss of the season. We traveled to New Jersey to take on Rutgers our next game. This is what I would consider my coming out party. I mean, even though I considered the 2 guys in front of me my boys, I knew I was a lot better than them, and it was finally time for me to show it. My play at practice and in the first 2 games of the season proved my ability to not only be able to read the zone defense, but to beat it, and I did just that. It would be in this game I would come up with my first collegiate touchdown off of a dig route to the back of the end zone. My play would be the only bright spot in this game, as we went on to lose, mainly due to the 3 interceptions thrown by our quarterback Cam. But after this game, I would meet with the offensive coordinator, and he would let me know I had officially secured the second receiver spot on the depth chart. Say, man, listen, if last game was my coming out party, then this was me sending a message to everybody in college football that I'm really that guy. I had the confidence not only within myself, but from my coaches and teammates as well. I mean, even though technically I was still the second receiver on the depth chart, it was clear that every time Cam dropped back to make a pass, I was his first option. Now, we hadn't quite built the chemistry of me being able to completely make up my own routes, but I sure as hell was breaking off the original route and carving up the defense. This would lead to several big gains and a couple touchdowns. Not to mention I was able to break the school's single game receiving record as well. I was having a field day, and the Ball State defense clearly didn't have an answer for me. But with all that being said, man, we would still go into overtime and take a heartbreaking loss at home on what should have been a wide open touchdown. But as you can see, man, Buddy stepped right out of bounds. Man, look, after a huge game at home and breaking the school receiving record, it was a no-brainer that I moved up the depth chart to the number 1 spot. It was officially my team, and I didn't give a damn how anybody felt about it. Look, at this point, it's clear why I came here. It was to get better and increase my stock, so when it was time to jump in the transfer portal, I'll have more options than I did coming out of high school. But it seemed like once I got the keys to the offense, my focus changed. I went from just wanting to be seen and stuff the stat sheet to actually wanting to win, and that energy became contagious. Not only on the field for game day, but in the locker room, on the practice field, in the classroom, everywhere. The Buffalo game would not only be the start of a winning streak, but the start of a cultural shift here at Eastern Michigan. That shift I just mentioned would stay with us for the remainder of the season, and trust me, it would definitely be needed. In the next game versus Army, we would face adversity late in the fourth quarter, as a miscommunication between me and Cam led to a pick 6. And then on the following kick return, I would go down with the injury causing me to miss the remainder of the fourth quarter. Say, man, the team would fight back strong and send the game into overtime. Now, y'all know it ain't no way I was just going to sit on the sideline and watch my guys fight for the win. I came through clutch near the red zone for a 19-yard reception. All the pain I was feeling from that stinger I had just suffered earlier in the fourth was setting in, but I ain't give a damn. I immediately called for the no huddle and lined the team right back up to go for the win in overtime. The defender had the curl route shut down, so I broke off into a slant and Cam had the ball right there waiting for me. We would go on to win the game in overtime and send them Army boys back to the base with the L. Say, man, look, the team was in a very good spot and I was finally getting the attention I had always wanted. Now, I'm not going to act like people was just screaming my name all across the world, but hey, I was kind of a big deal here in the Mid-American Conference. I had one player of the week 3 weeks in a row, and we finally started to turn things around. But say in our conference home game versus Ohio, it was almost like the defense was non-existent. I mean, our team chemistry was at an all-time high, and it literally looked like a game of pitch and catch. We would jump out to an early lead and never look back. I think I went for like 3 tuds and 250, 220 yards, something like that. Anyways, I was in my bag, bro, and it was clear that the defense could do nothing to stop it. Of course, we went ahead and took the blowout win at home and moved forward to the next week on the road versus Northern Illinois. Now, I know their stadium may not be the biggest, but hey, it's definitely the nicest in the Mid-American Conference if you ask me. But I would come out looking to set the tone early with a huge 55-yard kick return. Say, I had to let them boys know that, yeah, we may have lost a few games, but we certainly still had that dog in us. We would go down to score on the first drive of the game, giving us the 7-0 lead. And then, of course, our defense would do what they do, getting a stop. But look, I was on a punt return looking to make magic happen. But instead of magic happening, man, tragedy set in as I would go down with the gruesome season-ending ACL injury. Now, obviously that wasn't the way I wanted to finish the year. Just as we started to pick up momentum, I went down with a season-ending injury. But luckily I'll be able to make a full recovery and be back 100% for next season. But say, this season wasn't a total waste. I was voted to the freshman All-American team for the entire NCAA. I also finished 7th in total overall receiving yards. I think I made several improvements in my route running and my ability to high point the ball. But most importantly, I increased my stock in the transfer portal. Say, man, I need y'all help. Should I stay here at EMU and try to build something with the new incoming recruits? Or should I jump in the transfer portal and weigh out my options? Man, I can't lie, I'm loving what Coach Prime is doing down in Boulder. But hey, I'll let y'all decide. Comment down below and let me know what my next move should be.